lighting systems from the term itself we could understand that artificially we can provide the lighting to the plants for the agriculture system. Okay, why it is required whenever we want to grow something throughout the year to improve the growing season of anything, any crop or any plants, we can go with the artificial lighting system, because when we depend on natural light, sunlight, we won't get throughout the year in the same way. Okay, it varies depending upon the weather and climatic condition. So we are going for artificial lighting system. So with the help of artificial lighting system, whatever you want to grow, wherever you want to grow, it is possible. How long you want to grow, it is possible. You can improve the yields. You can improve the yields, and it will be normally a space efficiency, and the system will be more efficient, because however you feel that as convenient, you will be able to do it. And the main applications of artificial lighting systems could be greenhouses, indoor farming, vertical farming. Mainly these three are the very important applications. And I think I even addressed about aeroponic and hydroponic plants or crops or irrigation or agricultural system. Aeroponic is something like the plants will grow in air or mist. Air or mist, like the place where you have the foggy places, foggy region or mist region. Some plants will grow like leafy items, cabbage, the broccoli, lettuce, these kind of things will grow in mist. That is also possible with any weather with the support of artificial lighting system. Okay, I think I concluded my class with just what is a greenhouse. Okay, so greenhouse is a structure where you can keep any crop, you can plant anything for the business purpose with the support of artificial lighting system. So mainly you need to plan the structure of the greenhouse. The structure could be of our wish only, however you want. Like the greenhouse can be side and all can be open, only the top could be covered, so that the side and all, whatever the natural light or natural temperature, humidity is provided, can be absorbed by the plants as it is. Suppose you want to even control that, you will go with covering the side also. But when we cover everything, how about the ventilation for that? Like suppose the thing is so chill, you are providing temperature for that, or it is more temperature, you need to send off the temperature out of your greenhouse, or it is more of air, wind, that needs to be controlled. So in that case, you provide with the ventilation whenever it can be utilized controllable manner. Whenever you want more air, you can just open the window. So sometimes you don't require, you can close it. In such a way we can construct any greenhouse. So that's the reason it is named as house. Greenhouse. House is for greens. House for the plants. We say it is a greenhouse. But you don't write the definition as it is a house for only plants. It is a structure where we will be able to grow the plants with the controllable environment. Controlling the environment in a sense, environment includes temperature, humidity. Temperature, humidity, those two mainly. In addition, even some other things, especially CO2, carbon dioxide is very important for the photosynthesis. Suppose sufficient carbon dioxide is provided by the nature itself, it's fine. But you keep on shifting it, the level of the CO2 for the plant. Suppose you feel it is less, which is not sufficient for the better health of the crops, obviously we artificially provide some CO2 for the plant. So when we talk about controlling the environment, whatever you get it from the nature, if it is enough, fine. If it is less, you add some more. If it is more, you stop, reduce. And streamlining the thing is done by the greenhouses. To perform that streamline, we use different material in the greenhouses. Okay? So with that, I will give you a few more points. Any definition kind of thing? Yes or no? A greenhouse is a structure, take down if not. A greenhouse is a structure designed to create a controlled environment. A greenhouse is a structure designed to create a controlled environment for plant growth, allowing for the extension of growing seasons and the cultivation of crops that might not thrive in the local climate. I repeat again, a greenhouse is a structure designed to create a controlled environment for plant growth, allowing for the extension of growing seasons and the cultivation of crops that might not thrive in the local climate. Greenhouses use transparent materials. Like glass or plastic to let in sunlight while retaining the heat which can be supplemented with artificial lighting, heating and cooling systems. What is the second point this says about? So when we decide to construct a greenhouse, we use certain materials. So what kind of materials could be used? Normally it will be of a transparent material. So generally we use glass or plastic, but in some situations we will be using steel, wooden materials and all could be used. Again, depending upon the requirement, the materials could be chosen. What is the purpose of using? And actually the frame will be made up of steel. On top of the steel, we use these kind of materials. You get my point? And these materials will absorb the sunlight. And it will control that sunlight when it is sent to the plants. So whenever, some materials and all will keep the heat for longer time. Okay? So it will absorb, it will be retained in the material. Later, when it is less for the plants, it will be sent. And during night time, definitely there will be sunlight. Suppose if the region is extreme hot and cold. So daytime they will absorb the entire temperature. It will retain in the material. Night time it will be not exactly same. It will be less only, but still it will be added to the artificial lighting system and sent to the plants. And light is important for the growth of any living being. Okay, even for the cow or hen, like when you see this Namakkal poultry and all, artificial lighting system only, they improve the production of the hens. Okay. Similarly, a survey says that the milk production is when it is in the dark place, when there is no sufficient lighting, milk production is also less comparing with the normal light. So when the people identifies that this is what the reason, the lack of milk production, they provide artificial lighting system for that. What I am trying to say here is, for any growth of any living being, light is very important. important. Okay, some amount of spectrum of light is very important. And for some plants or animals or whatever it may be, the living beings grow, heat is also important. Okay, so these materials will absorb the sunlight, retain in them, and then it will be added to the artificial lighting system if required and given to the plants for its better growth. Fine. So how are we going to construct the greenhouses? How the structure and what are all the components that we used while constructing the greenhouses? So the structure is comprised of frame. Okay. So the first component, we can say it is a frame. So normally the frame is made up of aluminum, steel. Frame is made up of aluminum, steel. Sometimes even the materials are used to make a frame. Okay, frame. Even when we are constructing a house also, how the frame is made by iron rods. On that only other materials are used. In the same way, when we are constructing a greenhouse, frame is made. The frame could be made up of aluminum, steel or wooden material. The shape could be of your wish. Normally the generic or general shapes could be gable, cube or Gothic arch. Okay, so these kind of shapes are used while making the frame. Next, coming to covering material. Covering material. Once the frame is made, it needs to be covered. The covering material only is having a connection with the external world. It will absorb the temperature, humidity, moisture, mist, whatever it may be, is provided by the nature, is absorbed by covering material. So we must be very careful in choosing this covering material. This is chosen according to the requirement of any plant. Okay, so this could be normally glass, polycarbonate. Here we have just said plastic, right? So that is nothing but polycarbonate, polyethylene. The list goes on, but mainly these items are chosen for the covering material. Next, coming to, we even need to provide artificially heat. Okay, so for the heating system, so normally during the winter, you want to take a bath in hot water, right? So what do we use for that? Earlier and all, we used to heat the water in the stove or whatever it may be. But now you have the facility of using geyser. And one more thing, immersion rod, some kind of rod we will be using. That is not so, that is a dangerous thing, but still we were using that rod. Using that we were heating the water and it was used for taking bath. So similarly here, to heat the atmosphere, we will be using certain things. So heating is also when it is extreme cold, when the natural sunlight, even though you retain that heat, but the artificial lighting system, with that light alone will not be sufficient to provide a required heat. In that case, we go with some heating system. Similarly, cooling system also. When it is extreme heat, that needs to be reduced. That may not be good for the plants. Again, I am saying, depending upon the crops. Some crops may require more heat, some crops may require less heat. Even if it is same crop, at the earlier stage it may require very less heat. Whereas when it is in the fruiting stage, it may require more heat. Depends upon the requirement of the crop, we need to provide the thing. Okay? So for the heating, what are all the things we use? Normally using gas or electric heaters. We will be able to provide. Otherwise, from the ground level itself, like we have a system, whatever the water you get it from the ground level, that itself will be heated. Like you want to, water. You want to supply water for the large scale of amount of lands. Okay, some 2 acres or 3 acres. Where you are using a smaller heating system through which you heat it and then supply the water to the plants, it will not be that much effective. And in that case, ground level itself, the heating system will be deployed. Okay, so whatever the water you get it from the ground itself will be heated, and that water will be supplied to the plants. That also is possible. And these are all the various ways to heat, to provide the heat for the plants. Next, coming to cooling system. So how heat is important in the same way, when it is extreme hot, that also plants will not be able to bear that. In such case, we need to go with the cooling system. So to prevent heating during very hot periods, we will be using some methods to cool in the water. Maybe in the roof itself, we will be able to provide some ventilation. Okay, even if you know this, like some materials, when the house is extremely hot in the terrace, they will be pouring some materials so that will cool and the things, so that night time while sleeping you will not feel that much hot. Okay, so like that in the ceiling or in the roof system itself, we can provide some, we can use some materials to cool in the atmosphere. Okay, cool in the atmosphere. Daytime it will be normal, but night time to cool in that we use something. Or we can provide lot of ventilations for the greenhouse so that it will cool and so the heat will be evaporated or it will go out, so that the internal atmosphere will be little cool comparing with the normal situations. So next is lighting system. We are talking about greenhouse. Whenever we establish a greenhouse, what are all the things we need to consider? So lighting you are familiar with now, right? So normally in greenhouses, two very familiar lighting systems are used. One is LED, because LED can be used customizable manner, right? So depending upon, like when you are using combined crops, some crops require more heat, some crops require less heat. In such case, customizable manner we can use LED, or it can even be high intensity dischargeable lights also. That also can be utilized. So with the support of artificial lighting system, we will be able to supply light to the plants. Next is irrigation system. Irrigation system. What is irrigation system? Supplying water for the plants. Again, if you are growing a rice crop, you need to go with the surface irrigation. Or you are growing only greens or vegetative plants now, depending upon that we will be using some different type of irrigation, or it can even be a automated irrigation system. You just set a timer, and you have a system to observe the water level of the land. Accordingly, you set the timer, so water will be supplied. Once water is supplied, or for a particular duration when the water is supplied, it will be put off. In such a way also we can provide irrigation system for the greenhouse. Next, coming to environmental control system. Environmental control system. So this covers everything. When I say environmental control system, it is common for temperature, humidity, moisture, CO2, everything. Okay, pest, disease, it covers everything. So to cover or to control everything, you must have a system. So whenever we plan to establish a greenhouse, these are all the things should be there in our mind. By considering all this only, we construct greenhouse. Fine. So do you think any drawback can be there for a greenhouse? What could be the challenges of the greenhouse? Any idea? Yes? Cost. Of course. Cost is a drawback, but at the same time I can say that initial cost only. Initially you must have enough artificial cost. Only then we will be able to establish it. But once you establish it, it will not be that much costly, but maintenance is also there. Maintenance is also there. Once, okay, when we are constructing a house for living, okay, only the construction will be there. After that, maintenance will be very, very less only. It will not be equivalent to the construction cost. But here in the greenhouse, since crops, it is not permanent. First 6 months, I may grow some crops. Later period, I may grow some other plants. Depending upon the plants, I need to give a proper maintenance. And this resource management, like your water or nutrients, so periodically you need to check that, because you're not completely depending on the nature. You are providing most of the things artificially, and your wishes, the season should be longer. I don't want to limit the season to be only for 3 months or 6 months. Year long. For all the 12 months, I need to get the yield. That intention only I have constructed my greenhouse. So, to get such yield, proper maintenance should be provided. So, what are the maintenance I need to give for the better crop development? That is what is going to be the next topic. What are all the care I have to give? Crop growth management in greenhouse. Challenges, not everything is challenge only. Like you have to educate the people, right? You will not be there always in the field. You may appoint somebody else to take care of that. In such case, you have to give them proper training. Okay? And all those things like nutrients. Suppose some external climatic thing is affecting even the greenhouse. Now, in that case, you need to perform various testing. Accordingly, you have to change the nutrients and all. So those things and all you have to take care anyway. So now we are going to see about crop growth management in the greenhouse. We are not talking about the natural farming. We are only talking about smart farming. We are only talking about greenhouses. Okay. So in greenhouse, for the crop management, crop growth management, what are all the things we have to take care? What are all the advantages we discussed? Everything you have to maintain properly. Correct? As I mentioned, temperature control. Temperature control. So we observe the temperature. See, you are having RO. Okay? So every 1 year you do you change the filter, or 6 months we change the filter. Again, depends upon which brand you are using it. Okay? After a certain period of time, the taste of the water will go down. Correct? Taste of the water will go down. Only then we realize that something wrong with my RO. And then we call the maintenance fellow. Then they will change the filter. Correct? Then only we will come to know that there is some lag over there. But here, how do we identify temperature control or heat control or humidity control, whatever it may be, the controlling system is not going well. That we need to identify properly. Correct? So, how long it takes, like when I deploy something for the temperature control, how long it is working. So, initial stages, you will do lot of research and development in that. Okay? Because will not be much clear with that system. When I use a particular lighting system, how long it is giving efficient outcome, how long it is working well. It may work well, but how efficiently it works. So the trial and error basis during that time will be really a challenging period. Once you are adjusted with that oil system, then it will be easy to maintain the greenhouses. Till then, it will be a challenging period for anybody who is involved in establishing a greenhouse. Okay, fine. So here we are going to see about crop growth management. So where it all we need to focus. Number one, climate control. control. So under this climate control, I can say temperature management, humidity control. Mainly those two comes under climate. Based on the climate, these two only gets changed. Okay. So climate management, depending upon the climate, I have to use a proper heating system. Proper heating systems, proper cooling systems. Correct thermostats are sensors, because who is the one who will be knowing the measurement of the temperature, the requirement of the plant, I will get to know from the sensors. Okay, so that will be telling me this much temperature this plant is required, and depending upon the climate, your temperature will vary. Temperature will vary. When it is summer period, it will be of more heat, and at that time you require cooling system. You require cooling system. Suppose if it is a winter time, when there is no sufficient heat is supplied by the nature, then you need to go for the heating system. That you have to identify what is the current temperature, what is the temperature required by the plant. Accordingly, you need to change the systems. That is the number one thing we need to take care. Depending upon the climate, these are the things should be taken care. Next, coming to humidity control. Humidity control. So humidity control again, this is based on like when it is more even for human being itself. Humidity is more means we feel so much of suffocated, right? Proper ventilation is required, and in a room, if more people are there and more humidity during good humidity period, we feel like we won't be normal. Correct? No, we will not be normal. We feel like the greenness kind of thing will be there. Unnecessarily we get anger. Many things will happen due to too much of humidity, and there so much crowd is there. The effect will be different. The same thing will be there even for the plants. When more humidities are there, the planting should be different. You cannot use the normal plantation only. Okay. So high humidity which plant can bear. Accordingly, you have to plant it. You have to grow a particular crop. Suppose if very less humidity is there, that also will be a problem for the breathing. It will be a problem for the plant. So humidity cannot be more or it cannot be very less. So accordingly, we need to give some artificial force for that. Again, sensors who will be sensing the humidity also needs to be maintained properly. Proper maintenance should be given for that. Next, coming to light management. Of course, as I mentioned, for any growth, light is very important. Depending upon the light spectrum, yield will vary. The amount of yield will vary. So you see that the light system is sufficient. Yes, we can do. Suppose if you find the light system is less, you need to give what kind of light system I have to give. When I should provide such light system, that needs to be decided, scheduled properly. Okay, as I mentioned, suppose in the seedling stage or in the very young plant stage, and at that time the fluorescent light is sufficient, which will give kind of bluish light. Let us during night, what kind of light is given, that much light is enough for the seedling or young plant stage. Suppose when it is growing up, when it moves to vegetative stage, that is kai karkira stage, it requires little more, or flowering stage, that time it requires some other kind of lighting. So each stage lighting system should be varying. Suppose I have set a particular lighting system, I forgot that thing itself. Okay, but the plant has grown up, it is waiting for the required amount of lighting, it is not there, the heat will be reduced. So you have to maintain then and there what kind of lighting is required for which plant, what light should be supplied. I need to be much care about that. Okay. Next, coming to irrigation and water management. That is again very important resource of any crop growth. Irrigation and water management. long-term crops now, I will be using a different kind of irrigation. Suppose I am growing like in the side and all I am having trees, mid of the land I am having all greens. So for the greens I need to use a different kind of irrigation system. Okay, so depending upon the crops what you are growing and depending upon the stage of the crops, I have to change the irrigation system for the better growth of the crops. Okay, so then you know the various types of irrigation system, when what is required accordingly we need to change. Then water quality. Suppose if the water contains lot of other not a chemicals, kind of different salt which is not suitable for the water, of course it will affect the growth of the crops, right? Even at home also, like various areas we get different quality of water. We are not able to take the water as it is. For that we are taking some measure. Even if you are setting RO also, if the natural water is very good, it will go, RO will work for longer time. Whereas if the water contains so much of salt, it will get spoiled. Not only the RO, your washing machine or heater, everything will get spoiled because of, and the salt will be deposited on the various parts of your devices. Get my point? Similarly, even for the crop also, water quality may affect it. If the water is of very good quality, yes. Suppose you feel that it is not of good quality, it is spoiling the health of the crop, of course you need to take some measure to control the quality of it. Okay, take care of the quality of it. So of course pH level and all, frequently we need to check it. Finally, fertilization and nutrient management. So in addition to the regular food like water, you need to even provide proper nutrients. Suppose in a field they are continuously growing the crops. Okay, they are eating the nutrients of the soil. After a certain period of time, the required amount of nutrients will not be there in the soil. You have to test the soil. Okay, and you need to find out what nutrient is required for a particular crop and what is available in the soil. Okay, so see the percentage, accordingly you have to balance the nutrients in the soil. That also is very important for the growth of the crop. So that's very important. And then when I talk about fertilizer, it could be sometimes soluble in the water itself. You can mix with the water and then with the irrigation itself you can just mix it. Some fertilizer or some crops require separately the fertilizer itself, or some fertilizers needs to be combined with the soil and given to the plants. Okay, so depends upon again the plant, what you are growing, crop, what you are growing, what kind of fertilizer should be used, needs to be decided properly and provided. So nutrient monitoring should happen periodically. So finally, pest and disease control. So frequently we have to see any pesticide because that is not under our control. So other things and all we will continuously check. And suddenly, due to some reason, during summer we don't get much mosquitoes. Okay, when it is extreme hot, there won't be any much mosquitoes. When it is cold, you can see a lot of mosquitoes. So this is predictable. It is extreme hot. Suddenly you get rain for a few days. After a few days you get a mosquitoes. Though it is a hot summer, mosquitoes will be there. It is unpredictable. Okay. So when pest comes, we won't be knowing what reason, what kind of pest attacks, we will not be able to predict. So that needs to be monitored. So when it is monitored periodically, when few pests only attack to the crops, immediately we can prevent it and we don't face much damage in crops. Otherwise, if you just leave it, it will be a problem. So that is very important. Any disease also may attack due to some other insects or some worms. Due to any reasons, there may be some disease for the plants. It may be spreaded even the air also. Over air also there may be some disease spreaded to the plants. That also needs to be problem comes and goes. Sometimes problem will be rectified as it is. Since it is artificial, you have made a complete closed setup where you are influencing many things artificially. You must have proper control over the crops. That may be a pest or disease, whatever it may be, needs to be monitored periodically and have a control over them. So these are all the main things we need to follow when we say about crop management or crop growth management in the greenhouses. The next topic is about CO2 simulation. I am not going to dig now. Next class we will discuss. I'll just tell you what it is. Okay? So, again, we don't have to go to physics or biology now. Just I'll tell you. So, this air is comprised of many particles. Okay? So, the components of air will be having hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, many things will be there. So, in that the combination of carbon and oxygen, carbon dioxide is used for photosynthesis, which we know very well. Okay. So, when we are going to give carbon dioxide artificially to the plants, we need to create it. We need to simulate the carbon dioxide and then provide to the plants. Okay. So, what are all the steps we will be taking? How do we introduce CO2 to the plants will be the next topic. Okay. How we see the nutrient level of the soil, accordingly we provide artificial or supplemental nutrients to the plants. Similarly, some other things also to the plants. In the same way, CO2 is very, very important for the photosynthesis. That is why it is given as a separate topic here. Okay. Even in any of your indoor farming or vertical farming also, supply of CO2 is very, very important. Hey, what are you doing? So the amount of CO2 provided to the plants is very, very important. So next class will be more about that. Okay? Thank you. Any doubt?